Hello. Hi. I'm Uncooked. I've got Joe Pooble with me. The
Hello, hello.
famous Joe Pooble. Welcome back to ESA Cup Season 5. We have upper bracket round 2 for you here. We're getting fairly deep into the playoffs now. Back at the start, this seemed a very, very long way away, but, we're only a few weeks away now from the end of the season, from that best of 5 grand finals. So, very, very exciting stuff indeed. Minions versus Tracker Clan. It seems to be an Xbox versus PlayStation matchup, Joe. What do you think of that?
This is console wars right here. Upper bracket. Not all to play for. You still have that lower bracket, but that's twice as many matches as you have to play if you get knocked down. So
Yeah.
you really want to be winning this.
Yeah, for sure. Something interesting as well. So whoever loses this will play against Maniac Suiciders 15. That's in the lower bracket after they 2-0'd Odessa Esports. Unfortunately, that wasn't on the stream. We were supposed to bring you that game yesterday. But the two teams we have as well, Minions and Tracker Clan, they're all from Group D, including Maniac Suiciders 15. So no matter what, we will be getting another Group D rematch from the loser of this game as well. That's just kind of how things have worked out, which is which is quite fun. Obviously, the groups were only best of one, so as we come into these best of threes, higher competitive integrity, you could say, you start to get those storylines coming through.
Absolutely, and these rematches from the group stage, we're going to be seeing more about which of these teams have these stronger map pools, more
Yeah,
strats. There's an argument to be made that you can win sort of three matches, 3 or 4 matches in group stage, coast along after that, save strats, as a certain GT player would say. But now we're in playoffs. This is where it really matters. So we're going to be seeing more sort of quality gameplay from all teams.
yeah, and an interesting thing to note as well is actually these two teams didn't actually play in their group. It was actually a forfeit victory for Minions. Although it wasn't originally that way. There was an admin decision which overturned a forfeit win in the other direction. I'm not entirely sure what that was, but yeah, and if you're wondering, if you're looking at Wikipedia or something going, Tracker Clan's not here. They were playing under Yod Esports PS, but they've changed org. They're now on Tracker Clan. So yeah, that's just where this slight little jiggle around of things is as well. So for both of these teams, you do have that console war, like you were saying, but also you do have a British team in Minions versus a French roster in Tracker Clan as well.
No,
So
we're not here to promote any kind of, tension, international tension. Is all games, all
all
fun and
games,
games
all
here
fun and
in the
games.
ESA Cup. But this is a high stakes match because if you win this, you stand up a bracket. That is, you've done so much more to get towards that €770 prize pool for first place. As I said, it's double the matches basically if you move down to that lower bracket. There's so many more maps you have to show,
Yeah.
matches you have to play. It just puts you in such a more advantage position to stay in this sub bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just based on the results, obviously, Minions were first in their group. Tracker Clan did come in third, but again, Minions had 3 forfeit victories. So, a little bit of unrest here, and it's kind of reflected in our community vote as well. Just 53% of people predicted Minions, with the other 47 going with Tracker Clan. So, yeah, it certainly seems like it might be a close game here between two very good teams. Obviously, looking at the past, looking at that previous playoff games as well, you had Tracker Clan with a quick 2-0.
Yeah, two very good teams, but also two quite untested teams. That Tracker Clan game was for the first map. It was a 4v5.
Yeah,
They did 7-0, but it was a 4v5, and once they got to the 5v5, it actually went all the way to overtime. So these are two
for
teams
sure.
that numerically, statistically hold up quite well, but they've not really been tested minions with those 3 forfeit wins that we just talked about. So it's going to be interesting to see how this first matchup between these teams this season sort of plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just have a quick look at the map ban, see where we're going to be playing. And well, the first map taken off the board by Minions is Border. So the way this will work, each team will get 2 bans, then they pick a map each, then they get another ban each, and then we go to the decider. So let's have a look at where this battleground will be.
We're seeing Cafe and Bank also banned, so we're going to the first picks per team. And we've got
Chalet.
Chalet. Oh,
Okay.
love a bit of Chalet.
Yeah, Chalet has got quite a bit of history here, Clubhouse as well. Chalet, for the first couple weeks, was the most played map by a long margin. Oh, I thought we were going to get Theme Park there as well, but no, just banned out in the end. So we do get Oregon as a decider, but starting out with Chalet, I think I remember me and Bozamax at the very start of the season, we casted, I think, 6 Chalet games in a span of a week, which was it was quite a gauntlet. But yeah, it's settled out a bit when it started to get banned. So, but still, the one of the most played maps, Villa as well. Both of those with 20 picks each, including today. So
Well, yeah, these Chalet Club Oregon are quite default maps. I'd say you're not going to be seeing particularly out of the ordinary siege. Oregon is really your sort of bread and butter as a team. It very sort of samey map. Everything plays the same. Clubhouse to an extent as well. We've seen most teams stick towards the same stuff. Chalet maybe breaks that trend. Chalet quite attacker sided in recent history anyway, but we don't know until we've seen it. So
yeah, we really don't. So looking towards Chalet, it's actually I'm going to get the side statistics up because yeah, actually about 52%, actually no, about 51% going in the favor of the attackers. We've had nearly 200 rounds played on this map so far. And if we just look back, that was that overtime match that we were talking about for Nightwolf versus Tracker Clan, right? So, they've won here before, but it was close against a team that honestly, like it was Tracker Clan's map pick, but now it seems that minions have picked this into Tracker Clan, which just it shows confidence, if not anything.
yeah, minions identify perhaps a weak point in Tracker Clan there. They took that match all the way to overtime after such a dominant map one. So
Yeah,
minions seeing an opportunity and seizing it.
yeah. I just want to say again, like 197 rounds of Chalet so far as we start to head into this game. 101 attacking wins, 96 defensive wins. So this map is very much 50-50. It is all going to come down to those teams' preferences, whether they like to be on that attack or that defense, how the actual halves of this map are going to go.
We're going to get into the operator bans now. I believe we should be seeing that on the feed very soon.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
So
So
yeah,
what do you think attacking ban for
I mean,
Tracker Clan?
there's quite a few good options. We are going to see Knock being taken out, which makes sense. Knock is one of those operators that just gets banned out a lot. I'm expecting not a Thatcher. I'm expecting someone else, like maybe a Jackal or a Flores, has certainly been quite popular. Maybe even a Ying or Ossa as well. Just thinking about those executes. So yeah, we will see, and indeed it is a Jackal. So the sort of hunting of roamers is something that's kind of been shut down here because you have Nock who's able to sneak around, get those flanks off, and just generally be a nuisance about the map. And Jackal's very good for hunting down those roamers. So seeing both of those operators being taken off the board signals to me that we might get a very just a sort of loose sort of Chalet game.
Yeah, with the Nug being banned, you completely remove the possibility of a backstab there. Well, it's something we see quite commonly on Chalet. Thinking blue, thinking West Main. There are
Yeah.
plenty of sort of unseen angles you can get into sight, and we see the Soul's being banned as well. Soul's a very strong operator. The ability to just completely spot out and deny vast majority of attacker utility is proven to be incredibly strong. Solus consistently banned in seemingly all tiers of play, and we're seeing the mirror banned as well.
Yeah, she's been banned over 50% of the time, has Solace, which is quite a lot. And actually, Solace and Mira, the two most popularly banned defenders. So it says a lot about these operators. They are certainly the common options to be banned away. They're sort of like the safe options. And we've kind of seen that the whole time here. It is those safe options of what's being banned out. And it means that these teams, while they might be looking to play a bit loose, they're not looking to sort of throw everything out the window, right? There is still that sort of familiarity that they want to play with.
Yeah, interestingly, speaking about safety, we're going to be seeing the Azami being played. And Azami another very strong operator that we've seen throughout all tiers of play. The gadget completely restructures certain side holds, provides a lot of defense, a lot of time wasting on the side of the attack. So usually we see one of the big two of Solace and Azami banned in matches, and this time Solace takes the hit and Azami stays.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, not always the case, but we do see 2 of the 3 of Solis, Azami, and Valkyrie. We are seeing Valkyrie being brought along in this round as well. That's Mamba that's going to be playing her, because those Black Eyes are just really, really handy. All the intel that you can get as a defense, especially if you're able to hide it very well, is going to be so valuable, because obviously the attack have those drones. You've got people like Yana that have the Gemini replicators. You also have like Twitch, who has extra. You have Flores, who also has extra. So, and what do you have for defense? Bulletproof cameras? Sure. Inso's bringing barbed wire on the Jaeger, but, you know, that's fine. But then, default cams. Everyone knows where the default cams are, because they're default. Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, all that talk about safety, out the window. Fergo,
oh yeah,
early death, very early for that Azami, and Sully goes down as well. This defense from Tracker is really crumbling, it seems. That being said, there is a slight response, but Mamba gets taken down too.
Yeah, Liaxel just finding that kill onto the Valkyrie, and now the flashbangs come through. Mathix does find one, immediately traded by Prison, which means Inso, on about 10 HP, is left in this 1 versus 3. Makes it a 1 versus 2. Nice headshot, but still incredibly low on health. And you've got 2 full health players, Alex and Liaxel here, are going to be trying to prevent this, and indeed it's going to be the shutout. Just 1 body shot's enough, and that's going to be the first round coming through from Minions.
Yeah, on paper, a pretty good defense from Tracker there, but it just, these quick attackers getting in, dislodge these 2 roamers, and instantly they have to fall back to side. The defense completely crumbles. The early pick on the Azami is crucial there. So, not a particularly good-looking round from them. You'd want to see that Azami playing a little bit more conservative next round, getting the full usage out of their gadget, and potentially even picking up a kill out on the roam.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I think the first swing came through, and then it was kind of just a scramble to try and reclaim back and try and find a trade, and it just didn't really work, right? That's kind of one of the things that I'm seeing from that. As it stands, however, it is the first round for Minions, and, you know, this is a team that is very accomplished. We've seen them do very, very well throughout the stage. Yes, they had 3 forfeit wins, but they did still have a flawless record. They didn't lose a game. So, you know...
Yeah, absolutely.
They did pretty well. You know, you're seeing a few 7-2s against teams that even made it into playoffs as well. So, yeah.
So we're going to be seeing Tracker. Yeah, we're seeing Tracker have confidence in this side. They're going back to it again. They hopefully have identified the mistakes that led to that defeat in the previous round. Again, hopefully you'd want to see Fergo surviving longer, getting maximum usage out of that gadget. And it's going to be interesting to see how Minions sort of respond to perhaps a more conservative playstyle.
Yeah, and I'm just checking because I know that Minions are actually undefeated on Chalet this season, and it actually holds true for Yod as well. Both of those with 2 wins, 1 in regulation time, 1 in overtime. But it's another poor start for Tracker. Prison takes down Mamba. This time the trade does come quicker though. That's Mathix taking down Liaxel, so we are sitting in that 4 versus 4.
Valkyrie going down first isn't the biggest loss. Those 3 cameras are going to be out. You're losing a Nitro cell, but the IQ here could really prove to be quite a nuisance for this defense, because suddenly that utility we were praising Mamba for putting down early is going to be very easily taken out by the attack, and that's going to lead to a massive information deficit for the side of the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's another kill from Mathix, though. Brings the advantage into the hands of Tracker, but it's just thrown away straight away. Mathix just getting a bit too aggressive on those stairs, and that means that the IQ Zachariah can just confirm that kill very, very easily. That's your smoke gun as well. I don't think he'd use any of his canisters. So again, that plant denial utility isn't really there. You don't have a C4 anymore. And there's a kill from Sully, which is certainly going to be good. Finds himself down now as well on the rotation back through. Prism finds another onto Inso. So now Fergu, opening death of the last round, has to find these final 2 picks to save the round here for his team, lest it be a 2-0 start for the Minions players.
Gonna want to push Fergo together. Fergo whiffed shots, maybe lands one body shot on J Prism, but he's still in that 1v2. Impacts the air jab, gets the jump on J Prism. Still lose the gunfight to Alex Norley though. Close from the defense, much better in terms of the trade game. However, a few aggressive peaks there really lead to their downfall.
That was... Yeah, okay, so I'm a bit confused as to the player inside the bathroom, but it's still a round win for Minions, so, you know, that's good for them, but the impact grenades come through, you've got to be looking in that direction at that point, because you just put an air jab on that door, and then the impact grenade is on that door. You're going to think, oh, they might swing me because they just got rid of the air jab. You've got to at least look in that direction, and as it stands, it just didn't.
It could potentially be a heat at the moment thing.
Yeah,
don't know
sure.
where that impact is going off. They're stuck in that 2v1 that they don't really want to be losing. You know, it's bad enough losing around, but losing around with a man advantage, especially in a 1vx,
Oh, for sure.
you're really focusing on playing as a team. So maybe you're too invested in your comms, and you let that defender slip by.
Yeah, but you know, Alex Northy locked it down, so it's all good. We can just rest a little bit from that. And we head now to Bar Gaming. They're not going to go for a third attempt at that top floor bomb site. And honestly, it's understandable. Bring along Echo as well. This is a very quick entry in that bottom floor, or at least it looked like it. The sledge does open it up, but the players just kind of evacuate. You know, that's an option there when they need it later. They're not necessarily going to pressure it now. Instead, going to try and find this vertical for the inside of Library. Mamba taken down very low right off the rip, because obviously the vertical is very, very important on this bomb site. The nade comes through, but that's a lovely take from Fergu across the top ropes. And that is now another opening pick for the side of Tracker. It's just whether they can make this one count.
Yeah, now it's all about wasting time for Tracker on this top floor. They've gotten their first pick. That's the Yana. That's the nade's gone. And as I say that, Fergo gets traded out. A bit of a late trade by Alex Northy. And again, it's that Azami being taken down early. Fergo maybe not the best at deploying that utility quick. Say that, Mamba gets traded out, but it still looks like Tracker have this top floor control.
Yeah, Sully's playing on those blue stairs as well. Obviously, Mamba was taken down very low to begin with, so it does make sense that they might be the next player to fall, but the position's now being reclaimed, retaken by this Frost at the top of the stairs, and they just run straight into Library. Bit of a misplay as Liaxel finds them, traded out by Inso, who now is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, has to try and dip down his fireplace stairs. Yasi Rotero spots out his position, so Alex Northy is going to relay that info to the rest of his team as a vertical pressure starts to come through now. You do have those breaching charges on the soft floor, making it very difficult to play in the bomb site. Inso is still playing around this hatch though, takes Alex down quite a lot, but now just has to dip away to the safe haven. That is Connector. Try and watch this hatch drop as the RC Roteros continue to come through, making it very difficult to play on this bomb site. Mathix and Inso up against the world here.
Very early top floor control being taken by the side of Minions. It is not something you want to see from Tracker, giving up such a critical part of the map so early. But they lose those gunfights. And I say that Enzo, he gets up, he gets that kill, free, completely free, but Eli gets the trade. And now we're seeing that those trade games coming in. We're seeing Minions really proficient at keeping that man advantage up for them. And Mathix in a 1v2 on the Echo. He can't really go for plant denial as he is straight slap bang in the middle of sight. He has to go for gunfights.
Oh, that's tough. Never mind. Okay, the flashbangs come through, take him out, but now he has the red ping information. The bearing 9 is not quite going to come through, but there's no time to get that diffuser down. And that's a clutch from... that's a clutch coming through from the Echo of Mathix, who's been putting in massive work in these previous 2 rounds, and it finally plays off. And that's Tracker with their first round on the board. You know, yay, it's a round, but it had to come from a clutch.
And it was a messy round from Tracker. They
Yeah.
they gave up vertical control with almost a minute, half the round left. It just didn't look great, and you can't be relying on these clutch plays. You need
No.
to be seeing better team play from Tracker, because there were points in that round where Tracker really seemed lost. They didn't seem like they had any kind of information on their own site, on their own parts of the map that they were so like heavily focused on. We saw that player running into library where there were 2 attackers just waiting for him.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe the comms are muddied. There's not good enough communication going on there. And I don't want to point fingers, but again, you see Frigo dying early that round as well on the Azami. He needs to be staying alive to keep getting as much usage out of that gadget as possible. And right now, we're just not seeing that.
No, for sure. You want to be seeing more. Fergie bring on the Azami. They're going for the top floor again. Hey, you know what? Maybe third time's a charm. Maybe, possibly.
Mathex needs to survive.
You don't look convinced.
Mathex needs to not peek a window like he did last round. He's on that smoke. He needs to be staying safe.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing these aggressive peaks from Trackers not really work out.
And there's the smoke on those stairs again. Takes a bit of damage down on Liaxel, but they're just going to get the nades down. He's going for the swing. Exactly what we don't want to see. But Liaxel can't connect those shots, so the smoke stays alive for now. I don't know. I think this is just misplaced aggression. Does actually get out of there. So that's Solarium now ready for the taking for the attack. Obviously, the longer angles will just be holding them off. But yeah, as it stands, I don't like that opening play from Mathix. It works out this time, but that's lucky.
It barely even worked out. It didn't waste that much time. Sure, he took about just over half of Sledge's health, but it's such a huge risk on such an important operator. Mamba's been downed on site, though. Vertical nade by Sledge, I believe?
Yeah, that's got to be Liaxel.
Yeah.
And Alex nearly catches the rotation of Mathix, but just not too quick on the draw. But it's the main window that comes through, and that's your smoke opening death. Yet again, it's just not working out. It is a lovely repick onto the angle, though, from Sully. Beautiful take, but you shouldn't have to be relying on that. You can't just take those crazy swings as the smoke in that situation. And now that is Solarium control for minions. They do have plenty of time to try and work this execute as well. Alex does have the diffuser on hand over on this side, and it's just Eli watching these angles. Are they aware of the player inside of the bathroom? No. Mamba does find that kill, but the window is such an easy position to get the trade from. Zachariah does find it, and they might be aware of Fergie's position as well. Takes the pre-fire, and that's just again miscalculated aggression for the side of Tracker Clan. Inso does have a good angle here, good position, could try and find the information from these red pings. Indeed does finds one, has to dip away. The window and Solarium all converging, but can't get the kill. The jump in catches him mid-reload, and Zachariah with a third in the round. Sully now left in a 1 versus 2. They cannot keep relying on these hero plays. You do have Zachariah down fairly low. Alex does take a bit of heat as well, but Sully themselves is only on about 30 points of damage. So it's a very tense situation. There's no time, though, really, to try and work this execute. They kind of have to go for the kill here. Although Alex does start to get this plant down. The rotation is being covered, but the pre-fire comes through, and Alex manages to get away. They go for the wraparound, and that's Minions getting their third round on the board, and it's their third round attacking onto this top floor bomb site. Tracker, give it up.
It seems like an entirely misread round there from Tracker. You have that misplaced aggression you were talking about from that smoke, but also the site setup itself. You had Fergu holding down that mezzanine when it was obvious from around a minute in they were going full force into this Solarium push. So Fergu was essentially, no offense to him, contributing nothing to that defense. And to the point where there are 2 men down, he has to go for a risky peek, read into perfectly by the side of Minions, and he dies. No value from that Azami really whatsoever. It just seems like Tracker aren't fully aware of the strats they don't understand the strats that they're implementing. You see that smoke, you see that echo, so you think it's a denial focused defense. But the smoke dies before he can do that denial, and the Echo's playing hyper aggressively in that bathroom position. It just seems like Tracker aren't sure how to do their own defense, how to really find the most value from it.
Yeah.
And that being said, we're going to a new site now, so we could see
God.
Tracker improve. They're bringing the Maestro, which Mathex is... I'm not sure if he was peeking there, if it was just an unlucky sort of shot through the window, if it was
I think it must have been
teammate damage.
But I think it was shots through the window because they were setting up inside of Trophy.
Mathex playing with fire early in the round yet again is something you don't want to see.
Actually, it's smoke, not fire. That would be Tachanka.
I come in and cast with you out of the goodness of my heart for a favor, and this is how I'm treated.
Wow.
But early map control being taken by minions, we're seeing that gridlock come out, used partly for flank denial there onto the snowmobile stairs. Gridlock, an operator that, although designed for flank denial, we see more and more in competitive play as a sort of sound denial almost, to mask the sounds of plants and of rotates.
And area denial too.
Because of how loud that gadget is.
It's so loud.
It is incredibly loud, and we're seeing a very early thermite onto the actual site wall itself. Nothing to stop it. Not even an impact trick coming out. You'd maybe think Frigga would go for that. It seems pretty free. There's no kind of setup on the wall to stop that. Frigga just plays it safe, and suddenly the attack have a lot of control. That being said, the Axel's taken down by Mamba. The Azami finally finds some value, not from Ferga this time, however.
Yeah, and that's opening pick, and as long as Tracker hold on to this vertical control, the plant can't really come through. I think one of the Ossa shields was impacted away as well. So it is now that question of how they can actually go for that execute, because you do have those Ossa shields being the sort of driving factor when it comes down to the execute. Planting behind it, you have the cover from above. It's an almost undeniably perfect plant, but you just can't have that come through at the minute. You are in a man disadvantage as well. There was a trade, but Inso bite back, and Fergu as well, the Alda just being used to tear through the attack, and that's your diffuser down as well. So now Eli is having to sneak across this top floor. They might know of the position of Mathex inside of the closet. No, they just go for a pre-fire, aren't fully aware, and now the defense is going to know of this position. Prison does find him, and Eli finds a player on the stairs as well. Hang on a minute, this could actually go in the way of minions another time. It's been another man advantage situation, and it might get thrown away. Inso, though, does not want that to happen. Takes out Eli, which means it's just Prison left in a 1 versus 2. 10 seconds, no diffuser. This looks unwinnable. And they do have the red ping information, but again, there's just absolutely no time and no players left to do it with either. Inso locks it down, and that was a good round from Tracker. It could have been better, but they played it fairly well, I thought, Joe.
It was a round 1 on gunfights, and luckily for Tracker, Chalet is a map where you can find consistent success with gunfights.
Yeah.
I would like to see them maybe playing more into the utility side of the defense. No, nothing stopping those walls from being open. No attempt at an impact trick.
Yeah.
So, as you said, it could have been better.
That's good.
It could have been better.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Again, maybe that misplaced aggression in the second half of the round, throwing away those 2 men that they had the advantage on, but they still won. The guns from Tracker really did meet their marks, but
yeah, although I wasn't convinced.
We can't rely on it though.
No, I wasn't convinced with Mathex being the one that was inside of the closet. I feel like as a smoke, you kind of have to be on the bomb site, locking things down. But he's there. That position is very clearly to try and play your life, waste time. If you get a pick, then great, but you're not really expected to. I just don't know whether it's the smoke's job to be doing that. I mean, it
seems
works,
like Mathex is playing too aggressive for his role. I do agree with that. And I don't know if this was the UI sort of glitching. It seemed like they only used 2 reinforcements right before prep ended. I'm not sure if that's a UI bug, but I'm seeing a lot of soft walls here on site that you would probably expect to be reinforced. At least I would expect to be reinforced. So I'm interested to see how this Tracker defense really works, because leaving so many walls just open to be shot through, especially on site. You can't really play in that connector position anymore, at least
No.
not safely. So
Yeah,
I'm interested to see what the plan is.
you do have the fortifications up above for the library position. Getting a very strong vertical hold is definitely going to also be a priority. And you've got Fergu finding the opening pick and using those Cuba barriers effectively, clogging up the holes, making sure that the position from Tracker is going to be able to be exploited. But you've got a Brava, and they've actually hacked a Yokai drone here, Joe. This could be huge, and Alex is able to connect with that information from the clutch drone up above. That's Mamba going down. Wamai does. The discs do regenerate, but you probably have most of them out by this point, so it's not necessarily the biggest loss. However, you do still lose a gun, and that's one of the most important things here.
And there's no
Actually,
nades on the attack, so the Wamai really is sort of, aside from the gun, he's outlived his sort of useful time.
yeah, for sure.
That first pick on the Axel, great pick on the sledge. Suddenly that vertical control from the attack means so much less because they have to expend so many more resources. Beautiful shot from the Yana. I'm not sure if he knows that it's been down. Eli's going to go in and definitely confirm it. But now we're kind of entering this sort of quiet phase. A minute left. They've got their control. They now have to sort of focus on this execute. The Echo drone could come in huge here. This is an interaction that a lot of people have been hyped about since Brava's announcement, but we don't tend to see that lack of care coming from the defense. And Inzo, so incredibly aggressive. Zakario, this is a free kill, but he doesn't want to peek it. Inzo gets aggressive, finds his shots. Still a trade coming out.
No,
Mine advantage, 2 minions, but not a great engagement there from Zakaria, and that Brava drone gets shot out. So no funny little plant denial from that. They just win off kills.
Yeah, that's a shame. I would have loved to see, playing for the sort of counter diffuse denial with the yokai, but some things just aren't to be. We'll be able to see that eventually, right?
I'm sure we will. We've got
Although, I mean,
plenty of matches of Siege being played. We're seeing that operator more and more.
Although, to be fair, we usually do have, me and you especially, usually do have criticisms on the way that teams play Brava. That was actually kind of lines up with what we expect we should be seeing, right?
Like the way attack, that it was used not bringing her in the previous rounds, getting in that one time, not trying to make lightning strike twice because it's going to be expected. Fergu was well aware that drone was hacked, instantly shoots it out. So they've tested the waters. It maybe didn't necessarily work. Eli, I think, still got a pick in that round, and that lines up minions well. 4-2 split on the attack. We were saying this map goes 50-50. 4-2. Not the worst for Tracker Clan, I would say.
Yeah.
Not meeting the statistics, but, it's not the worst. It's certainly recoverable.
Yeah. I think it's like 51% defense or something like that. So it's like very slightly more attack side. And actually, in the group, it's actually... No, okay, sorry. It was 51% attacker-sided, but in this group, it was actually 56% attacker-sided. So... But either way, right? It was a difference of like 5 rounds, so it's very easily... Like 4-2, we could very easily go to overtime here. We could even see Tracker win in regulation. It's not necessarily unheard of, just because one game is slightly attacker-sided doesn't mean that, it's over.
What is Inso doing? I guess that's a miss drone, maybe. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he at least tried to have it droned. And once again, I'm seeing on the UI only one reinforcement used. Is this like a console meta? No one reinforces, everyone just goes around and shoots?
Or is it the other way around? Is it that there's 9 reinforcements out and 1 still in pocket?
I'm not. I don't know. Circle one of these numbers. A beautiful shot from the Axel there as we're sort of waffling.
Oh my lord.
Sorry for not paying you the respect there, Frost. My goodness. Eli.
And Eli just gets a bit cheeky with it.
I'm not sure if that was a teabag worthy kill. Perhaps he was just testing the crouch button.
Yeah, just testing. Mamba, there's someone right there. Mathix does find the Axel though, so it's being brought back. I'm surprised Mamba's still alive though, after I think Prison just came very, very close to just getting the kill, just scared away a little bit, maybe from the pressure on the top library window, or indeed Mathix's position here on Fluke. But yeah, it's now been brought back a little bit. As I say that though, Alex does find Mamba through the vertical, and that's now going to be a very tricky situation for Mathix. We've seen them clutch before. We're now going to need to see it again, and in a greater magnitude. I just don't think it's possible.
He's got the gun. He's got the health for it. Thatcher becoming that 3 health operator. He's got a very consistent gun, fan favorite, the L85. He's got to try and negotiate these 1v1 picks, though. He sees the one on mezzanine, whiffs the shot, lands the response, however. Now it's a 1v2. It's much more doable for Mathix now. You see Jay Prison in this power position. Alex Northey below in quite an exposed position, perhaps hoping that he goes for an ill-informed jump in. That being said, Alex Northey appears to have rotated. Mathix goes in. He knows that there's one off-site. And suddenly this has become very doable. He can get this 1v1 on site if he picks up the pace with 15 seconds. He's really going to have to get a miracle here. And Minions know this. Minions are not giving him a single inch. They're playing their lives. No time.
Yeah, there it is. Minions get away with another round.
Get away with is really the correct word there. That opening kill, I'm just not...
Yeah. I mean, Leaxel, though, that second kill was crispy.
It was beautiful. It makes up for the sort of free kill he got there with that beautiful...
Yeah, I think that's worth the 2 kills, honestly. That shot was worth the 2 kills. Wow. Nevertheless...
Good first defense.
Yeah, and we go back now to the top floor. We haven't seen a single defensive win on this site. Minions are going to hope that it gets a bit better. It gets a bit better for them because, let's face it, the defenses that we've seen of this top floor, they've not been great.
They haven't been great, but it's been one team. It's been one team doing it, so we can't... Yes. We can't be insulting the top floor site for one team's mistakes. If Minions completely flub it up this time, then maybe we can start to push some blame onto the site choice.
Yeah, because also, it's not really the most common either. Like, obviously, you know, I'm not the most familiar with the console scene, but in the circles that I normally run, it's often excluded entirely from the rotation, but doesn't seem to be the case today.
It's one of those sites similar to Cafe Top Floor where it's not the most competitively viable due to a glaring fault. So upstairs in a chalet, it's that double window. It's the power that Solarium and Library have when controlled by the attack. But these sites are just familiar. You tend to play them a lot in ranked. You tend to just click the first site that comes up. So these teams all know these sites well. Granted, they are not the most. They're not the strongest for the defense, but
yeah,
we can still see some solid defenses coming out, some solid strats being employed. It by no means just loses them the round simply by picking it.
No, for sure. Although, actually, the breaches open very, very early. Within the first minute, we can see the ace charges of Fergu that have found their purchase, and he gets the opening pick as well onto Leaxel. Proxim Alarm does go out on blue, so there's going to be a little bit more information for the defenders of Minions, but this round just does not seem to be going very well for the defense, and this could just be another one of those glaring issues, like you mentioned, is that breach is kind of free, and you just can get such good angles. Alex is still playing down below. Mamba trying to find the picks here, but Alex is in such a dangerous position. Sully finds one upstairs as well. The shotgun comes through, does not find its mark though, and Fergu finds another. It's all down to Prison in the 1 versus 5. Does it get the first? That's Inso going down on the bathroom, but with
so low.
65 seconds left, he's so low on HP, and the nade comes through from down below. The plant's not even going to get completed before the round's over. And yeah, the top floor yet again just showing why maybe it's not the best pick for defenders.
Yeah, we almost had the opposite problem here where there was no library control being employed by the defense this time. I think we had the Frost of Liaxel there very early, but pushed out quickly, and Mamba, I believe, gets the pick incredibly early on him as well. So they get Library for free, they get the Mezzanine Breach for free, and minions are just left scrambling to figure out, okay, how do we retake this? How do we even out this man count? How do we stop the plan? And all those
Yeah.
thoughts going through their heads as Tracker just keep getting picks. They just keep winning their ones.
And I'm going to ask a question here. Please forgive me if it's a bit ridiculous, but is it worth going to the basement? Because I think I've definitely seen basement be the least played in sort of the console scene. Is it worth going down here? Because the top floor is clearly not working out. Obviously, though, if you're still able to get like 2 out of the 3 on your rotation, it doesn't even matter. You already got 4 attacks. But if this round doesn't go their way either, obviously you can go back to bar in round 10. But then do you go down to that basement site? What do you reckon?
Well, with the basement site, out of all of the sites on Charlotte, map control is probably the most important for basement. And these teams
For
have
sure.
not looked to be very good at keeping map control on the side of the defense. So you have this sort of balancing act of, do we go top floor where no team has won, or do we try and do basement where all the problems we've had with top floor are kind of amplified, but at the same time they might not be because we've not tried it yet. So that's the decisions that's really going to have to come out for minions. They're still in a good position this match. Mamba
Uh,
just misses the head of the axe, so picks up the kill, however, just as I say that, shutting up the silly little caster for doubting him, and once again, Tracker Clan in this man advantage.
yeah, Mamba finds a second as well. That's Zachariah going down, and this site again. I mean, every site kind of has a problem with map control. The thing is these teams haven't been great at keeping map control on the defense. But the thing is, well, they haven't really been good at using their map control on the defense. And if you're defending the basement, that kind of is a site that you need to know how to use the map when you have the control. Otherwise, it doesn't matter that you have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a sneaky angle. The Ossa Shield comes up just in time. Eli's going to have to dip out of there. But that was very close. A great idea. The execution just came a little bit too late. And honestly, to kind of no fault of Eli themselves, that was just unlucky timing. Siege timing, you could call it. But there's Fergu finding that kill. And they just don't know Mamba's here. Alex just wanders into the sightlines. And again, we're seeing another 1 versus 5. This time it will be a flawless. As Tracker bring it back to within 1, and that question comes through again. Obviously, Bar Gaming next site, right? You know, it's been 3 rounds. They do have that back in their rotation, but where do you go from there? Because the attacks on both the top floor and that kitchen dining have been so incredibly conclusive. It's been a 5 versus 1 for Tracker Clan both times, and only one of them were you able to stave off the flawless round.
It is a difficult
Might as well
decision.
just give it a go, because like it can't get worse than it already has, right? You might as well try it.
Yeah, both these teams looking very weak on their defenses. It might be a case that they're both just very strong attacking teams. So they're winning.
Yeah.
They're certainly winning their gunfights respectively on the attack.
For sure,
With
for sure.
the better guns are winning out those fights, and they're maybe not exactly playing into their setups, playing into their utility on the defense. Because that's how you win those gunfights on the defense. You have to play into your setup to give you that advantage. Because purely gun wise, yes, one hit headshot applies, but you're probably not going to be hitting every single headshot. So the
Yeah.
better attacker guns with the better DPS are going to be winning out. So you need to be playing more around that setup, and that's just something these teams aren't doing. You're seeing them play very sort of isolated. They're playing these quite aggressive gunfights they don't need to, and they're getting shut down. We were critical of Mathex on his defense. He was over peaking as smoke and dying very early before he used that utility. On the attack, much better, because now he can sort of afford to be more aggressive.
They know Vliax's position here as well on the drone, which is really going to be something. See, they have. It's very sneaky, I will say that, inside of the bathroom, but gets out of dodge just in time. Sully pre-firing the wrong way. and they might be aware of that information. And again, it's the aggressive gunfights coming through from both teams. A jump out actually from the Axel finds its mark, and Mamba, unable to find anything in response inside of the office, just completely cut off from Sully, who was the Nomad, only got one air jab down as well, and he's just not prepared for the swing. Inso does find one in response, however, that's Eli on the Warden going down, so that's, execute denial utilities going down, sort of, but Liaxel's just farming, and the Warden doesn't really bring anything anyway. You've got Claymores from here on out, so yeah, you can kind of afford that pick, especially if Liaxel's just popping off. Okay, that's a lovely angle. I could only just see the outline of Prison, and Fergu finds another. This is suddenly very, very dangerous. There's that Zachariah going down. Alex and Liaxel, the two top fraggers on Minions, are going to have to try and prevent what would be, I think, a 2 versus 4 coming through from Tracker Clan that would bring it equal. And they've got plenty of time to do it as well. 75 seconds. The RCE does get disrupted by the mute jammer, but the MP comes through. I don't know whether that destroyed the utility or not, but the other RC does come through. Make sure that the frost mat is not going to be of any concern, as now it starts to come through again. That might even clear out the mute jammer. So Alex, having to reposition, gets a bit closer to that bomb chassis before being able to fall back. And it's just 45 seconds left here. Alex
the
does
Axel is
find the
retaking
first.
library. The Axel's going up.
C4
And
comes
suddenly
through. How that doesn't
very-
connect?
oh.
Huh? Okay. Oh, but Fergu doesn't have the diffuser. It's going to have to be all gunfights. And that's 4 on the round for Liaxel.
It was a good attempt from the attack.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think we need to be sort of pointing the finger at that Aruni, because you don't need to be peeking that window that aggressively. You can just stay in that corner, wait for the jump in, and losing your player in library. You still had Liaxel upstairs, but you're losing your library player gives the attack so much more freedom and so much more control. And the final blow to the attack in that round came from their decision to rotate down. If you take that 2v1 upstairs, you gain a lot of map control, and you can take that 2v1 on your terms, because there's no player. The player below can't influence that gunfight from above, whereas the player above can. So you take that 2v1 above, and suddenly the attack is in such a good position to win that round and take that one sort of free site we were talking about, the only site we've seen defense get any kind of success. That being said, Tracker opt to go for a more site-focused push, and Minions in the final moments close out the round. But it was sloppy. They were giving away fights they didn't need to, and that's a thing we've been saying a lot in this matchup. The defense kind of don't know their own limits. They don't know when they should just sit back and relax. They're attacking the attackers instead of defending the building.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it could be the final round of this map, but we might see all 12. It's going to be it's a tough one to call, honestly, because you do have the same issues coming through, but obviously we've only seen it once. It could have just been a fluke. We don't know.
Yeah, we are seeing the defense opt into going towards that kitchen side again. They're not going to try top floor. Sort of, we've seen that not work 4 times, I believe. We've seen that lost 4 times, 4 or 3 times. So the stats are
4 times overall. Yeah.
The stats are heavily against that site. We've not seen kitchen as much, and those kitchen rounds have perhaps been more scrappy. You can rely more on the gunfights to win that kitchen site. That being said, there is still no denial on either sets of walls, so the attack are going to be getting that pressure very early. This is something we haven't seen either team really adapt to in terms of wasting attackers' time. They're focusing more on their guns than the utility. And that gives Tracker's clan so much space so early in this round.
Fergu's going to find himself down, though. I'm not entirely sure where that's from. It's actually from the Frost of Alex Northey. It might have been a Frost mat. Not entirely sure, but that's going to be... Yeah, it's absolutely huge, because that's your Thermite. That's your planter gone down indeed? No, it
The
can't have
site
been.
wall
It
is
might.
still closed.
Oh yeah.
So we're seeing that misplaced aggression yet again, this time from the attack. Thermite is taking fights on top floor when he should be breaching site.
Yeah, Alex Nordy finds a second as well onto Sully, and it is now just falling apart for Tracker. This is kind of the same thing that we saw from their defensive half. They just don't place their aggression correctly, and it leads to picks just being found where they don't need to be. A third for Alex, and it's looking like this could be the end of it. There's now 1 versus 5. Mathix all on his own, does find one, but that is all she wrote for Chalet. 7 rounds to 4. It's Minions, the Xbox team. They take their map pick here inside of the French Alps. And that
it was a win that was given to them that final round. That was not an earned round win, I would say. That early pick on Thermite should never have happened, and fair play to Minions for getting that pick. But it still shouldn't have really happened. We should probably see round 12. So a little bit disappointed in Tracker Clan for that, but Minions take the map. They were just better on the gunfights. That's really the story of that entire map. Minions were just better on their gunfights.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we certainly saw some impressive performances. We saw some really good clutches as well from Tracker. Obviously, it didn't still get them across the line, but you do have to give credit where credit's due. You know, we've seen some amazing, gunfights. We've seen some amazing shots, and from both teams. But like you said, Minions just seemed more active. They seemed more turned on as well to the actual gunfights inside of this game.
Yeah, and these were gunfights that Tracker did not really need to take. And I would like to see Tracker learn from that, Tracker Clan learn from that going into this second map. Because the second map of Clubhouse, map control on Clubhouse is arguably even more important. So you would want to see Tracker playing for the time, playing their lives, rather than playing for kills, rather than swinging early when they don't need to. And that's really going to be if they can adapt in that way, we're going to be seeing a much closer Clubhouse.
We might even see map 3 Oregon, but we are just going to head to a bit of an extended break. We know there have been a few issues with the stream. We're going to get that fixed in between now and map 2, so don't go anywhere. We'll get everything sorted, and then we'll be back into Clubhouse. See you in a few. Hello, welcome back. And hopefully we don't have any more issues. I'm currently a blur, but that's fine. I'm Uncooked Pasta, joined again by Poobel, and we have Clubhouse here for you.
Yeah, and I think Clubhouse is really going to shine a light on the weaknesses we've seen in some of these teams. Yes. Clubhouse, especially your defenses, pardon me, are very much focused on map control and keeping map control and delaying the attack. And that's something we've not seen these teams be particularly good at on their Chalet defenses. So we're going to see if these are trends that will continue or if this delay, sort of extra delay between maps has really allowed them to sort of iron out these weaknesses.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly very possible. We could see one of these teams take it just to look at the starting sides, of course. It will be Minions that start us out on the defense for this map. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a reversal from what we saw, pardon me, the first time around. But yeah, looking back at that Chalet again, we did see those issues of not just like issues with map control, but also misapplied aggression as well. I think you could say teams really taking swings when they didn't really need to. That sort of thing.
Yeah, and with the way Clubhouse plays, there's operators like that as Army, like that Smoke. You're gonna need them to stay alive as long as possible to apply as much pressure and fully utilize their utility. Particularly, I'm thinking like Basement. You need that Smoke alive up until the last 45 seconds, so he can delay the push, or else suddenly it swings drastically in the favor of the attack.
Yeah, one thing I have seen as well, which is an interesting, well, not an interesting, but it's a very new sort of one way on the Clubhouse basement that Azami can get is very, very powerful. So honestly, on Clubhouse, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Azami being banned out fully.
Well, yeah, and Azami just fortifies so many of those power positions like
Yeah,
rafters, and it
for
just makes
sure.
it so hard to dislodge those defenders. And these positions are key for the takes that the attack want to go for. So we're going to be seeing definitely one of Azami, Solus, or Valk banned. That one of the big three at least, maybe two of the three, because of how strong they are with delaying the attack. You know, the Solus you can play aggro early with the Solus, get a few drones, and just completely stunt the momentum of that attack. And the same can be said for Azami. You can make yourself so hard to dislodge. We're going to be getting in the match very soon. Bit of a delay. So,
Yeah, a bit
Cameron,
of a hand cam. That's me.
predict the bans.
Predict the
What do you think?
bans.
What do you think is going to be taken out? You have to
Okay.
say which team. Just what four ops are not going to be seen.
Um, I think we might see a Thatcher for this one. That's possible. We might see a Thatcher for this one. I'm thinking probably either Knock or Jackal again are going to return. This is like my thought process. I'll narrow it down to a final four in a moment because obviously I've now given like 3 attackers, and then for the defense, again it could be someone like Kaid is very strong, but again you have Mira, Azami and Solus as well are also going to be quite popular. Valkyrie is also very strong, so there's a lot of options. I'm going to say that we see Thatcher, Jackal, Azami, and Solus. That's who I'm saying spanned out.
Interesting.
That's who I'm
I'd
saying.
probably agree. Maybe go towards a Nook instead of a Jackal ban. They seem to really enjoy not having to worry about those sort of late backstabs. But we'll see.
Yeah, we will see indeed as we head over to the wonderful clubhouse live from Germany, as it turns out. We go to these two teams. Is it Hanover? I think it's Hanover.
I think it's Hanover, yeah.
Yeah.
It says somewhere in the map.
Yeah, for sure. Because obviously, I like to say when we go chalet, French Alps, and I can't actually remember where Clubhouse is. But yeah, it might be Hanover. Either way, we're going to see if my prediction's correct here. It could just be wrong entirely. It's going to be something.
Unlucky, mate. Unlucky.
Yeah.
You still go 3-4 though. You could still go 3.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like my thought process was, I see more of Nock than Jackal on this map. So it was a real coin toss between Nock and Jackal, but it might be both of them again.
Ace.
Oh!
Ooh.
Okay, that's something that I didn't even consider was the hard breacher ban. But I mean, it makes perfect sense, especially on this map. We see it quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll see the teams running Ace and Thermite for CC pushes, Hibana and Ace. Ace tends to focus more on the walls than the hatches. The breaching rounds from Ace are always more line of sight based than actual entry points. And we're seeing the Valk off the board as well.
Yeah, obviously, Valkyrie is very strong. So I'm not doing very well. Currently 0 for 3, but this last one I could be correct. Yay, I got one.
There we go.
I got one. Oh dear. This is
Sol's
why
just so strong.
This is why I'm the play-by-play in this sort of. You're the color. You're
not the brains behind the operation.
I just waffle and hopefully it sounds vaguely intelligent.
We're seeing Mozzie, and that is an operator that has really fallen out of the meta as of recent.
Need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they
slowly over the course of about the last year or two been moving away from that utility meta that dominated sort of competitive play throughout 2020, and Mozzie was a big part of that. You'd see Mute Mozzie roams on Clubhouse, sort of pioneered by SSG with that SSG roam. But Mozzie, we're seeing him fall out of favor. He doesn't provide as much. He lost that secondary shotgun, which really sort of hampered that utility. And especially now we're seeing more Echo play as this sort of aggressive drone work for the defense. Mozzie just hasn't really
10 seconds
found
to
a solid, stable place in the meta. So it's going to be interesting to see how Zakaria
5
on
seconds
this
left
role,
before insertion.
see what kind of impact he can have, how he'll sort of
Attackers
hinder
locate
the
and
attack
defuse
in this
the
way,
bomb.
because he's used all his pass early as denial rather than drone theft, when usually you'd expect to see a Mozzie keep at least one in pocket in case he's droned out. And that has resulted in Mathix getting a very crucial drone up there. He sees that there's at least 2 people on the upstairs, the Mozzie and that Oryx. So immediately, Tracker know there's going to be
Bomb located by
at
attackers.
least 2 up there, which means at most 3 on site. Now this could inform a sort of quick push, but we're going to be seeing Mamba going for this sort of default roam clear.
Yeah, and the SSG roam, for the viewers that don't know what it is, because I obviously know. That definitely wasn't a thing. That definitely didn't die out before I even started playing Siege. Definitely not. So, explain it.
Okay, the SSG roam.
viewers,
We're not seeing it here, and as I was going to explain it, Eli just takes the head clean off of Mamba. The SSG roam was a very sort of famous roam on Clubhouse where you would utilize a castle, and they just the attacker dropping like flies. I'm trying to explain that. I'm trying to explain the damn
They don't
strat,
want to know. They don't want to know.
We're seeing the attack completely fail to clear out these roamers. Great pick from Zakaria. Great pick from Eli to start off this match. And immediately this halts the momentum of the attack. We're going to be seeing the attackers likely regroup, try and take some 1v1s, but Sully gets away with it. I honestly expected him to die there, but the attack have managed to all group up, and the Axel falls prey to the Claymore, and I didn't think he was going to go for it. They're forcing now Blue into
the crossfire.
Yeah, the crossfire, as you said, established there. There's nothing they can do.
No, absolutely not. Just straight into the jaws of death, and it doesn't work out. It's a 3 versus 2. The trades have come a little bit, but again, that failed roam clear really biting Tracker Clan in the behind when it comes down to these final few moments. Inso is now going to try to sneak up, but they just don't have the information. Flashbangs through, the ADSs do catch, so only one of those will connect, and Inso finds himself blinded as well, has to dip away to those stairs, and that's a lovely swing from Eli, meaning Fergu is left in the clutch situation. 1v3, does find the first, takes a drop as well. TCSG waiting on the other side of this mirror window. C4 does not find it, but it is Alex who connects. It's the first round for Minions, and it got a bit close there, but it was just straight up, the roam clear really bit them in the butt, and we can breathe, and
relax.
maybe now we can explain the SSG roam. It's taken us 3 minutes, but
I need to preface this by saying we are not going to see the SSG roam.
Absolutely not.
We're not going to, obviously because they're in gym bedroom, but even when there are any teams in basement, we're not going to see it. It doesn't happen anymore. It was a very slow pace. It was a roam that would follow a very slow-paced attack through the use of Mute and Mozzie to consistently deny intel on that top floor, while I use Castle to block off entryways. And due to simply the way the game was played back then, where it was all focused on clearing utility and there would be a last 30-second push to get as many kills as you can the attack and get a plant down, it worked really well. But times change, and we're not seeing that anymore. But the spirit lives on in the fact that Clubhouse, you still have these heavy off-site roam games on that basement, and that's what really hindered the attack there. They could not dislodge that roam, and once you fail that roam clear, you've basically lost the round. You can lose a round in half the time if you can't dislodge those roamers, and you end up losing lives as a result. And that's what happened to Tracker Clan then. They just could not get rid of those roamers. They lost 2 men in the process. And that meant that they had to start dropping into crossfires, just panicking.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like Liaxel, I was wondering if they were going to go for any sort of bandit trick, but no, all those batteries are down. So it seems like we won't be getting any sort of tricking today. But actually, something to note is there is no Thatcher on side from Tracker Clan, which seems a bit silly. You do have just 2 impact EMPs on the gridlock of Inso, and that's about it. So the breaches don't necessarily seem to be the most important factor, despite the fact you do have 2 hard breaches on side. It does mean, though, that Sully can bring along flashbangs, just really deny those ADSs, but as I say that, Mamba's used both of their frag grenades already, so the ADSs can kind of just sit pretty. Flashbangs can't really be used for really their only primary use, which is to deny the use of these ADSs, let the nades come through. The utility that's coming through from Tracker Clan, I'm baffled, to be honest.
It is confusing. You have this double hard breach with your 6 flashbangs, so that you'd expect, okay, a lot of ADS burn. You're going to want to be getting these deep nades and decide to dislodge the position, but they've only got 2 sets of nades that they use immediately, and Mathix is down outside. I would be very shocked if this kill gets confirmed. It would have to be a trade if they want to confirm it, and the defense quite wisely choose, okay, we'll just take that. That's one guy left on 20 health. We'll take those odds.
Yeah, absolutely. 70 seconds now for the execute. Yeah, 70 seconds now for the execute to come through. It's still plenty of time. They are going to look to actually provide a bit more pressure over towards Logistics. Gets the angle onto the mirror. Alex Northey nearly survives because of the railings. But no, that's going to allow Mamba to hop on through. Liaxel, though, with one. Sully trades from up above, and Prism finds himself down. Tracker Clan collapsing onto the bomb site. Eli does have an angle onto this hatch, but has to just drop away, and that's going to allow rotations to come through. And not quite the jump in into the bomb site. Eli now playing inside of the bathroom, a bit more of a defensive stronghold of a position, but there's Inso with the SMG. It's just Zachary left. And Inso takes them down as well. Tracker managed to just find the picks, and it works out. Again, the utility from the attack, I was like, this is strange. And then the defense just kind of...
And they win. They win that round. They win a round they really, on paper, shouldn't have.
Yeah, for sure. It is a little bit... It's a little bit strange, but, you know, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They are going to go back to gym and bedroom. Hopefully it works out better for them.
Zachary going for this Mozzie pick again?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if I'm a fan of that, but, you know, it could work out this time. Again, we're seeing the same, I think it's exactly the same thing that we saw last time, and considering how well Tracker were able to sort of just dismantle it with just having good positioning, I'm not convinced. They've got drones in good spots as well, so the Mozzie not really working out. This time, though, it's a great take from Eli. Takes out Mathix. That's your 0 down, so different...
oh, Zachary. That's a little bit too ambitious.
He got the down onto Inso, though, but... Yeah, that's...
Throwing away man advantage now.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing on Clubhouse, because it forces the defense to either play for proactive trades, or get a little bit aggressive to try and levy that man advantage up towards them. And we're going to see Eli choose the aggression, rather than going for favourable trades, because his hand has been forced. Zachary dying there makes it go from a 5v4 to a 4v4, and it's suddenly so much more winnable for that attack. That being said,
yeah,
Eli gets the pick.
Angle well.
Eli, you know, doing insane work this round, getting that first pick, getting the man advantage back in the favour of minions, when Zachary really threw it away, and now we're seeing the defense in a much stronger position.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not quite panic stations yet for Tracker Clan. They've got plenty of time. It's only a one-player disadvantage as well. Easily brought back with a couple of favourable gunfights. The sequel, though, does come through onto the breach from Prison. Doesn't find anything. And now these long angles can start to be worked by the attack. They have the better guns. They have the better scopes. With Fergu, playing with fire there, nearly inches away from death. However, just does not come through. It's going to force a rotation out of Jim, though. from the Jaeger of Alex Nordi, which means that essentially it's actually very good positioning. They force the rotation, but Mamba on the swing just does not know that the axle's there. Oh, the kill onto the hatch as well, slaying everybody inside that logistics side, and Eli finds their third in the round as well. A massive round from the Frost and Bandit as the jump out comes through. Break that one down. I challenge you.
Well, it's very easy to say, okay, Eli just killed everyone, basically. Eli and Alexa just killed everyone. But if you want to sort of break that down more like strategically, Eli really held on to CC. He was in a position that was not favourable to him. The attackers had garage control, platform wall was open, but Eli just sticks it out, he holds his angles well, and he gets that second pick. And that shifts things massively in favour of the defence. Because suddenly you've gotten rid of that 0, so the attack have to be more aware of your flanks, and you've gotten rid of that book, which means you limit the attack's ability to move around the map. And suddenly you force them to go through these, either through windows or through that bedroom door. And from there on, the defense just clean them up. Elaxo gets that beautiful 2-piece in Logi because the attack are forced to go through these like less favorable positions. So it's really on Eli for bringing them through that round.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are seeing a Brava come through from the side of Tracker Clan. And so, well, we've got to hope that the utility does come through because it hasn't necessarily been the best this time. I was going to say, please don't Maverick that. It's soft. You have an Ash with hard breach charges. Okay, not a fan of that.
We're going for a dirt rush, it seems.
Or at least Mamba is. The rest of the team not quite on the same page.
Mamba's going for it. He's not even going
just use your soft breach charges here, right? That seems like the obvious thing because you can clear range. You can clear utility from range with the actual launcher. So just entering into basement, getting this done as well. Although the advantage of clearing this with here is that you don't quite hear it as much. And it doesn't do as much damage. However, it's Alex and Prison who just lock it down. Poorly executed rush strategy, and Fergu's just out of there, completely out of dodge. Does not want to be any part of what transpired. A minute into the round, and we've already got a 5v1.
Yeah, it echoes into what we were saying in that first round. You know, the attack noticed that they're going for this very extended, very sort of committed roam. There's not going to be many people on site. We can take the man advantage. We can play for trades on site, get that control, get plant down. But they missed one key part of that. They don't have any intel in sight. So the Kayed of Alex Norley just gets at least 2, possibly 3 from the side because everyone just runs in, has no clue where they should shoot. So the attack really misplay that rush just due to the complete lack of intel they have. And that leaves poor Fergie in a 5v1.
Yeah, poorly executed from the side of Tracker, and I think this is going to be used as sort of like a sort of faux timeout, just to, or a pseudo timeout, probably the better phrase for it. Just takes this time to talk through. I don't necessarily think they have a coach, so you can just use this, talk with the team, get everything sorted. The Oryx actually getting very aggressive. Prison does pick up for himself. Eli as well, but this is round over. This is just trolling to just try and be the one to get that pick by running out. But it is Zachary quick peek in the stock door who finds it.
Could I put you on the spot real quick?
No.
Do you know what the do you know what the statistics are for club in terms of win rates for the sides in ESA?
I have a fun thing called Liquipedia here to guide me. So in their group, it didn't get played much, but it was exactly only 3 players, but exactly 50% win rate. If we look overall, there's going to be a few more plays, but the web page not loading is really really not helping me here. So
okay, let's say 50-50 then.
Yeah, it's about 50-50 in their group, and basically 50-50 overall as well. You've got 48 attacking wins to 47 defensive wins. So 50-50 overall. Already played 5 times in the playoffs, including this game, which is quite a lot considering it was only played 10 times in groups. So better threes, Clubhouse coming out to play, but actually it's been a decider quite a few times. So that's a shame.
Clubhouse is a map that most teams will have available in their map.
Attackers are heading out.
But just on that side sort of statistics, Tracker Clan can't really afford to lose these next 2 rounds, or else they will be playing against sort of the stats. And obviously it's doable. We've seen 4-2 halves either side, but they went against sort of the gradient last time on Chalet, and it resulted in a 7-4 loss. So they really need to be winning these next 2 rounds to be putting themselves on a favourable position in this match.
Yeah, for sure. And I will just say that it was 48 attacking wins, so technically a 50.5% win rate for the attack, which means that they are already guaranteed to be worse than the stats. Obviously, it's an odd number, so it can't be perfectly 50-50. So, take that with a pinch of salt, but
this is much better from Tracker Clan here. They're using that Monty to clear out the top floor much quicker, because the thing that really has halted their attack so far is this roam clear. Granted, this is a bar defense, not a basement defense. The Monty still finds use here, not only for covering plant, but also clearing out these roamers, or at least getting intel on these roamers up here without having to expend drone after drone that just keeps getting shot in this, what looks to be a 3-man crossfire held in construction.
Are we going to see... There was, that C4 that we saw that came through in the EU League on PC, where you can actually deny the default plant spot from this sort of rotate. You can actually get an angle to throw the C4 down the hatch from that logistics position, and it can actually clear a decent area on top of the stage in the site, which is often where a lot of teams do go for a plant. However, the castle barricade's actually going to be cutting off the axle, means they can't quite go for the rotation that they want. They have to go the long way around and possibly get denied the visual on whatever is going to be going down. However, they do find the jump out actually, take down Sully. That's a Nomad being killed by jump out as well is just so cruelly ironic. Zachary finds a planter as well, so Inso on this Montaigne, not working out.
And it's so sad as well, because you look at this lineup and it clearly shows that Tracker have an idea of how to counter these defenses. But minions are just winning the gunfights consistently. It doesn't matter if you bring a Nomad and a Monty to stop this aggression and to get this intel quickly. They'll just win their gunfights. And that's what makes it sort of so hard to analyze, because there's no kind of counter-stratting that can be put in here. You can't counter-strat just losing gunfight. It's simply just get good. And right now Tracker aren't doing that. And they're 4-1 down, despite their best efforts with these team compositions.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defended by attackers.
Oh, minions have the advantage going into the second half, and on a map that's so very equal in both these teams' group and overall, you gotta be nervous. Especially as this is Tracker Clan's map pick. They're already 4-1 down. It could be a 5-1 defensive half that we see coming through from minions. And at that point, that's the series over, you'd say. That's 2-0.
10 seconds to
There
go.
is a little bit of hope for Tracker
This is
Clan.
must win.
This is the site they won on attack.
Yeah.
They could force out a 4-2, and that is a very doable scoreline on your clubhouse attack.
Yeah.
Pick up those 4
Locate
defenses.
a bomb and defuse it.
It's doable.
Especially if you have that standard rotation.
Yeah, we're sounding all doom and gloom about how Tracker Clan have really approached this map, but
this
it's
is
still
must
very
win.
much doable.
This is a must-win round.
This is a must-win. 5-1 is technically doable, but there's so much going against
Realistically, it's not.
because you have to win one of your tertiary sites on defense if you're 5-1 down. Whereas they can afford
That's
to
even
lose
to
that
get it
tertiary
to
site,
overtime.
and
Okay, well, Eli's just farming at this point.
the same angle. The same angle. They've
Okay.
got the cutoff this time. They get the trade, but the Nomad is dead early once again, and that just opens the way for so much aggression from this minion side, which we've already seen. They make so much use of this space that they're given by the attack. So that's a really favourable trade on the side of minions.
Oh, that's so tough.
almost gets a good wallbang, but Elaxel just slips away.
That kind of just sums up this this series from Tracker Clan, doesn't it? Because it's and
So
does
close
that.
yet so far.
So, yeah, absolutely. It's just those little moments that just don't end up working. Prison finds one on the top floor window as well. That's your hard breach gone, and I don't even think they had jacuzzi breach open. Prison, you don't need to be swinging this here, my man. You don't need to be getting this aggressive. This is how we saw Chalet, all those defensive rounds, be thrown by the defense because they just swung when they didn't need to. And it has been a lot better and a lot more tempered from the defense as the Axel finds one. And we have seen that restraint. Mamba is able to slip their way past the player on the main stairs. And Mathex could actually get the cutoff on Liaxel here, but they're just playing back. He knows that he doesn't need to do this. The Mozzie drone as well jumps out. They know the position of that attacker on the window. Liaxel does just need to be aware of Mambo, and he is. The nade comes up, but it's not even cooked. Mamba's still able to get that frag. First kill on the map for Mamba, a player that we saw do quite well for their team inside of Chalet. Now with 30 seconds left, it's a 2 versus 3. Still doable. For Zachary, the Dokkaebi call comes through. Now just going to be swinging as Mathex is on the window as well. The two attackers separated and the swing does not work. The pre-fire just not there. And now Mathex left in a clutch. It was a 1 versus 2. We saw them complete on Chalet. It's going to need to be a 1 versus 3 here. The jump out comes through, gets shut down, but the window is going to be the place of demise for the Dokkaebi. That is 5 rounds to 1. And this is where panic stations are going to have to start ringing, because this is your map pick. You're going onto a 50-50 half with a 4-round disadvantage.
It's a grim half for Tracker Clan. But let's be a bit more positive. Let's talk about Minions. Minions have really sort of patched up the things that were costing them defensive rounds in Chalet. They're holding these extended positions well. They're playing these trades well. And their aggression, aside from these 1vx's, which they've basically already won, their aggression is a lot more moderate. And that has resulted in them getting this 5-1 half. And this was a map we were coming in this thinking we could potentially see quite attacker-sided halves because of how poor the defenses were in Chalet. And we've been positively surprised by Minions here. They've really learned from the mistakes from that first map.
Yeah, we'll just have to see whether Tracker Clan can write a similar story, or whether the ending is nearby.
It's not the full end. They'll go to the lower bracket.
That's true. End of Act 1.
But this upper bracket is so much more favourable. They're in such a better position.
And you get the ban advantage as well. You know, you have less matches to play, you have the ban advantage if you make it to the grand final. The lower bracket, it's a slog, it's a gauntlet.
We're going to be seeing Elaxel taking strip control very early. Not a care in the world for any potential roamers. And Mamba gets an opening on the other side of the map onto Zachary. That's your Yana down, that's your nades down. A very crucial pick by Mamba there. I think it was onto the some kind of peak outside.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It really wouldn't surprise me the way we've been seeing this map go. But it's a huge pick. That's not only your nades, that's also one of your joint top fragger on that team. There. So a good start from Mamba there. And they're gonna have to push him out of that position. Hopefully they do that, because otherwise it makes his attack even more difficult. And Elaxel just has no clues there.
Oh my god.
Nearly a very nice wallbang.
There's no way he finds a third there. Absolutely not. Minions, you cannot allow that to happen. Finally gets taken out. But I mean,
map control. Mamba has just single-handedly held down that top.
And then Mathex is in the same spot. The exact same spot. It's now a 1 versus 4. Alex Noldy. 4 frags to his name. Gonna need to double the kill count here in this round if it's gonna be successful. And we are attacking onto the basement. We haven't seen any attackers actually go to the basement at all. Mathex taken very low. The Bearing 9 does connect, but not before a chunk of damage, a good chunk of damage as well. is taken away from Alex, now on about 45 to 50 HP. And we do still have a C4 from Sully. We've got no impact tricks that could come through. Alex just gonna take the hot drop down the hatch. I don't know whether this would be expected. Oh, but they catch! And that's not going to be the result you want. Fergie was watching anyway. And that's a round for Tracker Clan. All on the back of Mamba. Absolutely.
Perhaps not the best play from Alex Nolly there. You're still 5-2 up, but that's a whole minute you could spend maybe ironing out the problems you had in that round. Granted, that's also a whole minute you give to the other team, and perhaps you could argue that other team would use that time more effectively due to how bigger disadvantage they're coming in to these rounds on. They're still 5-2 down. But he goes for a play, goes for a little bit of a unexpected play with that hatch drop, and dies with 50 seconds still on the clock. So you'd maybe think that time could have been better spent with the team.
Yeah.
Attackers have located a bomb.
But as it stands,
Mamba had a really good round.
Mamba had a really good round.
We need
triple when honestly
10 seconds left.
maybe shouldn't have even got one. We don't necessarily know how that first ball ended out, but definitely should not have got two, and absolutely definitely should not have got three.
Attackers
So
are moving to defuse a bomb.
you got to give props.
You got to give props. That can be put down to poor intel from minions, letting him get, as far as we know, unchecked in that position. It sounded like Axel had no clue he was standing on that bed, and then that all spirals into, you have I think it was a Buck jumping into construction, trying to get that late trade, but he's not going to win that. He's not going to win that on the vaulting. It's just an unwinnable gunfight due to how vaulting works. And
Yeah.
I think Fergu is prepped for a... Oh, Mapex, though!
Nearly got it. Nearly
Fergu
got
is
it.
going for something similar, though, it seems. He's playing close on that gym window, either for a run-out or a peek. They could get pulled for this, but it seems to be droned.
Yeah, they got the yellow pings.
Mamba still gets a trade. Fergu's naded, but still.
Yeah, Zachary's taken out. That's your capital, so that's good. Area denial and site denial as well. You got those smoke bullets as well. All taken out. Prism does have the Thatcher, which I was surprised that we didn't see Tracker Clan bring along in their attacks, especially when we had Bandit and Tide on side. And, this is really the usage that you want to get out of that. There is actually nothing to get, though, on these walls. There's no Mute, there's no Tide, there's no Bandit, so maybe it's just those ADSs that they want to get rid of. I don't know. It seems a little bit strange.
Maybe it's
Maybe
just
the drones not quite.
There's the stability that a Thatcher brings. You don't need to worry about droning out if they have the wall denial. You just pick a Thatcher because it's going to find some use anyway. It's a very sort of consistent pick. You can get consistent value from that pick.
Yeah, for sure.
Although, as you said, perhaps situationally you can get better value from another operator. Particularly looking at nades, there are only 2 sets of nades out on this entire lineup. They're both used incredibly early by Eli. So they get taken down by Alex Nordy. Inso peeking the breach. Mambo's stuck in gym. He tries to peek one of the breach, fails. Inso perhaps baiting his teammate in bathroom, still gets the kill without a response, but the dominoes just come falling down and minions take that attack.
Yeah, that's now series point. It's 6-2. We now need 4 rounds in a row from Tracker Clan to take it to overtime, to have the chance of taking us to map 3, to Oregon.
That you could argue that's a secondary site they've lost. They will still have to play a tertiary site, and they will have to win a tertiary site.
Attackers
And that secondary site as well. So
Yeah.
this puts Tracker Clan in a very dire situation. But they're gonna have to be pretty much perfect from here on out. They're perfect with their gunfights, perfect with their setups. Want to see them going for those trades.
Yeah.
And you
And
may want to
one
see
thing-
them rein in that aggression a bit.
Yeah, one thing though as well is, we mentioned it on Chalet. They're relying on those big hero plays as well. That first defense round number 7,
10 seconds left.
that was off the back of Mamba getting a 3k when they should have only got 1 maximum.
5 seconds to go.
you can't rely on those big plays.
Attackers are moving
And
out to
we're
locate
just
a bomb
seeing
and
the same
defuse it.
thing come through here. Alex is bringing a Montaigne, obviously for that rafters, for clearing that rafters position. Does have hard breaches as well if things just get a little bit dire. Also for that top rafters on the site if that's reinforced up. Provides a lot of good utility. Obviously we do see the Azami, and this is what we were talking about while we said we might see Azami banned, is because this rafters position is just so easy to play when you have these Kiba barriers, making sure that you have such a defensive fortress. Inso is downstairs as well to assist with this push. Actually, swinging very aggressive on the door. Zachary does need to be the player that's aware of that. As it stands, we are seeing Alex just baiting a little bit, trying to see if they can go up, directing the attention away from the defense while they wait for EMPs, I guess. Yeah, there it is. The actual a little bit slow, but there is no breach denial to come through. The nade through the drone hole as well takes Fergie down to about 45 HP. Very quick opening of the breach inside the first minute. Obviously, you do expect that to be opened, and Mando goes for a run out the main door, finds nothing, but nothing found in return. So just a little bit of time wastage, but also information. They know that they don't have everyone on the bomb site. However, with Rafters still being in the control of this defense, they cannot actually execute onto the site. Inso is now just being forced back by this Montaigne. There's two players on the garage door that look to want to find a fight. Prison finds a first. They've just walked into the bomb site. Finds a second onto Mathix as well. Sully trades, but the Axel's there. It's now a 4 versus 2. Ramba's now back up onto the bomb site. Rafters control for the side of Minions, and this could very well be the final play that we see. Sully, though, does not want that to be the case. Takes out Zachary. Alex is also really low on this Montaigne, and crucially, they don't have the diffuser. It's surrendered outside of the breach. Liaxel is there on the side, but what a flick from him! Liaxel wants this to be done and dusted. Sully now in a 1 versus 3. You do have the Montaigne covering as well, but there's a swing. Sully on a triple. It'll have to be an ace if they want to win this out. The pistol doesn't work either. Eli, now the last player alive. 35 seconds left. It's a lot of time, certainly in this position. No nades, however. And Sully's so low. No diffuser. It's just going to have to be the try swing! And Eli collects it. 7-2 here on Clubhouse. And Minions lock it away. Put it to bed. The clutch not coming through. That is it. GG's all around, because that has been an exciting series that we've seen. 7-4, 7-2 Minions take it in 2. And man, Sully brought it real close inside of that round.
It was nearly thrown by the defense at the very end, by the attack at the very end. Sully,
Yeah, Minions,
he gets the quad, nearly gets the ace. Such a good position. Diffuser still outside behind that
Just no
little
health.
lip of the wall, but he loses the one, and that's sort of the story of that whole match. They were just losing their ones.
And
the guns from Minions are
only
just
just as
far
well.
outclassing them.
Yeah, it got rather close quite a few times, but yeah, it's that same story yet again. It's man,
because those mistakes, Track is now in the lower bracket, and they're running in the ESA Cup playoffs so much harder. They've got to play twice as many matches.
The gauntlet now, don't they? They've got
to show basically all their maps, all their strats, just to get a chance to get to that grand final. Whereas Minions, I believe they have to play one more.
So
one or two
more before they're in the grand final. Whereas
2 more to get to the final. So they're in.
If Tracker Clan want to do the same, they've got to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more best of 3s and win them all as well if they want to get back to that grand final. It's
potentially
tough.
15 maps to get back there.
Potentially 15 maps, and then a best of 5 grand final to lock it off as well. That's tough. That's tough.
It's tough. It's doable, but it's
doable.
Tough.
You know, we've seen as well teams. I mean, look at the 6 Invitational G2. They went down to the lower bracket in the very first round, and they went all the way. So, for Minions, their next matchup will be between the winner of Team Misclick and Molotov Gang Germany. That game will be on Wednesday, I believe. Whereas Tracker Clan, they have to wait until next Sunday before they... Oh, no. Not next Sunday, the Sunday... No. It is next Sunday. So they play Maniac Suiciders 15, another Group D rematch. This time in a best of 3 scenario as well, and then we just sort of get to that gauntlet of the lower bracket matches.
And it's another group stage. Well, this wasn't technically a group stage rematch. The win was awarded to Minions via forfeit, but they have really shown that they probably would have gotten that win anyway with such a dominant display. But these group stage rematches, and you're playing an opponent that knows you, and it just makes it so much more difficult.
Obviously, Tracker Clan, when they were Yod, played a Maniac Suiciders 15. 8-7 win for Tracker Clan on Chalet as well. So it's been
a very close best of 1, and they've got so much more to work with now. Both sides have more to work with. So it's going to be a nail biter of a series in that lower bracket.
And the thing is, as well, you've got more problems to fix as well. Obviously, they came through third in their group, but there've been a few glaring issues that we've kind of pointed out. Hopefully, these teams can learn from this, but it has just been one of the things, misplaced aggression for both teams as well. And it seemed like Minions had sorted that.
The defense seemed
too,
lost. On Chalet, the defenses seemed lost, and on Clubhouse, Tracker Clan kind of looked a bit lost. Minions ran away with that map. The 5-1 half is almost impossible to come back from.
For sure.
Despite the best efforts from was it Sully?
Yeah, Sully was in that.
Despite Sully's best efforts in that final round, they were already dead and buried by that point.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
it's just unlucky for a Tracker Clan. Really, they've got nearly 2 weeks till their next series. They've got plenty of time to
2 weeks.
work on these mistakes and bring the fight to MS15.
Yeah, so that's it from us for today. We've had, hopefully, it's been a bit of a smoother ride for you all watching at home on Map 2. We did have a few issues that ironed out now. So thank you all very much for watching. I've been Uncooked Pasta. I've had Poobal alongside me. And also, not to mention, we've had Aria on the production for tonight and Bozamax with the observing as well. It's been a heck of a show, and that's where it's going to end. Thank you all very much for watching. You'll be greeted on Wednesday by Aria and Chamberine for Misclick versus Molotov Gang, Germany. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.